Alright boys, got this old Deus 2 out here, the HF2 coil, sensitive program, sensitive FT, silencer 2. You know that old clad down there's a high conductor, ain't it boys? You see them nails there? You folks at home may want to try this little task with your coil to see what happens. How significant is this? Now remember, when you're on the wild sweeping a coil around, it can be exposed to who knows what. It can be shallow too. Now, that could be a silver ring, you know. I mean, you're talking about iron proportion, size of target proportion, okay? So I might be able to take a gold ring or a silver ring, or a silver dime for that matter, and see something similar here with, you know, iron and the non-ferrous target proportionality adjusted. Now, how would I know how good this is? Meaning, how significant is it? How would I know? Using multi-frequency. You all can try to guess how I would know, okay? 6.8 Deus, the silencer is at 2, sensitivity is 90, I can turn that up. Machine's quiet as a mouse, speed 3. I'll turn audio response to 5. Alright, you hear that? That's two-way signal on that. And I'm in, that's the 89 kilohertz band. Here's the 53 kilohertz band. That's about 2.5 inches of coil height on that. If you've just seen in the 53 kilohertz band. Now I'll go over here. Let's notch the iron range. I've notched it over to 9. Okay. 53 kilohertz band. So we can hear it there. Here's the 89 with the iron range notched. So how significant is that? Running multi-frequency. All right, boys, here's another. How significant is this behavior running multi-frequency? You see that nickel there? We're going to play with a little coil height here. Let me turn this camera off. I've got a noisy vehicle coming up the road. All right, camera back on. We're just going to look at sensitive FT. This is beta version 3.03. 2.5 reactivity. 6.8 Deus, silencer at 2. So this thing's got lower silencer than 2, but I'm just going to use 2 here, okay? Here's the 89 kilohertz band. So that's about 2.5 inches of coil height. Here's the 53 band. We're getting some signal there, aren't we? There's 2 inches of coil height. Let's raise the speed to 3. It's about 2.5 or 3 inches of coil height. Frequency max back to 89. You hear that? So how significant is that? Let's drop the speed back to 2.5 right quick. 89 kilohertz band. That's about 4 inches of coil height. 53 kilohertz band. Now I'm not noise canceling this machine, okay? So I'm getting signal on that from about 4 inches of coil height. You hear that? See where that coil is? Now again, this is silencer 2. How significant is that? Sweeping from that direction on that setup on that US nickel. Alright, here's another one. How significant is this? And I'll take the nickel off of there, that plastic. There's a grand total of 5 nails there, sweeping left to right as I'm showing you in this camera. How significant is this? Running multi-frequency with a VLF metal detector. Sensitive FT, silencer 2, reactivity 3, 6.8 is the Deus, sensitivity is 90, frequency max 89. First. You hear that? It's about 5 inches of coil height, 4 plus. Alright. 53 kilohertz band. That's about 5 inches, 4 plus inches of coil height. Sweeping that. How significant is that? Back to 89 kilohertz. Now I'm in speed 3. We'll change it to 2.5. We're still in the 89 band. That's 6 inches of coil height. 53 kilohertz, 2.5 reactivity. That's about 5 plus inches of coil height. I'll go in here and notch out the iron range. I've notched the machine over to 9. This is frequency max 53. That's about 5 inches of coil height. 89 kilohertz band with the iron range notched over to 9, 0 to 9. You hear that? How significant is that? You could try something like this with your machine at home with a small coil and see what you get. Okay, so here's the nickel. And there's the iron. Could something like that exist in the wild? And you're out there sweeping your metal detector.